Tuesday Night Warfare. I'm your host, Gotmark76. We have a great matchup lined up for you today, as we will see the Hart Foundation of Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart in tag team action. Of course, the Hart Foundation, two-time World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. They won those championships in 1987 by defeating the British Bulldogs in January of '87. They would hold the titles for most of the year, losing them to Strikeforce in the fall of '87. And then they would turn face at WrestleMania 4, and they would win the World Tag Team titles from Demolition in 1990 at SummerSlam. And their opponents, well, a tag team that I think may be underrated, believe it or not. They are the Hollywood Blondes of Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman. This tag team put together in the fall of '92 when Brian Pillman turned heel. They really found themselves in the early part of '93. They defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Shane Douglas for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. And many fans really liked the Hollywood Blondes. They were the cool heels in WCW. Unfortunately, the bookers, the ratings, whatever you want to go by, the booking, the ratings, were not fans of the Hollywood Blondes. And they were split up later in the year, and Stunning Steve Austin would go on to have a decent career in WCW, winning the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. But of course, he would go on to become Stone Cold Steve Austin just a few years later, and his career would skyrocket to the top of not only the World Wrestling Federation, but of the entire wrestling industry. Flying Brian starting up this match against Bret the Hitman Hart. And Brian Pillman, a member of the Hart Foundation in 1997, ironically in a feud against Stone Cold Steve Austin. So this is one of those what-if dream matches, one of my favorite tag teams. After the Steiner brothers left for the World Wrestling Federation, the Hollywood Blondes were one of my favorite WCW tag teams to watch. And the Hart Foundation, they were always a really good tag team. I won't say that they were one of my favorites. At the time, they weren't. I think I respect them a lot more in hindsight. But I always respected them. I always liked them. I wasn't always the biggest fan of theirs, but I always knew that I would be entertained when I watched the Hart Foundation wrestle. And here we are, we're going to see some of that tag team maneuvers right here as they throw Pillman into the ropes and a double elbow takes down Flying Brian Pillman. This is, of course, one match, Tuesday Night Warfare. And a drop kick in the corner by Bret the Hitman Hart, and Flying Brian is in trouble. Now Pillman making a comeback, has Bret Hart. He's taking Bret to his corner. No, a snapmare takeover. And down goes the Hitman. A tag, and here comes Stunning Steve. And these two men, of course, wrestled each other at the Survivor Series 1996, and they had that memorable match at WrestleMania 13 in 1997. The double switch, which does not come off all the time. You cannot pull a double switch many times. It has worked. I can probably count two. The Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart match at WrestleMania 13, and Demolition and the Powers of Pain at Survivor Series 88. And that's the only time I can count a double switch actually working in wrestling. Comment below any of your double switches that maybe you thought worked, maybe they weren't fresh on my mind. And maybe they're quite obvious as the Anvil takes over Stunning Steve. Of course, March 22nd, next Monday night, we present Clash of the Champions. I will be broadcasting with my tag team partners, Bill Knight, Bilski, and Zach Deli0316, the man behind the curtain for TWN. And we look forward to bringing you that special pay-per-view event. Ironically, the main event of that show will also feature Stunning Steve Austin. As Stunning Steve Austin, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Beautiful Bobby Eaton, the Dangerous Alliance, take on Tully Blanchard, Barry Windham, and Nature Boy Ric Flair in a 6-man tag team ladder match with Arn Anderson's contract up for grabs. Will Arn Anderson be a member of the Dangerous Alliance or the Four Horsemen? Find out next Monday night. The Anvil and Stunning Steve out on the floor. The referee has begun to count as up to 5 as the Anvil rams the face of Stunning Steve into the ring. And Stunning Steve needs to be careful not to be counted out. Up to 7. And the action has been brought back into the ring. Stunning Steve makes a desperately needed tag, and here comes Flying Brian. Runs, charges, clothesline, takes down the Anvil. Another clothesline. Down goes the Anvil. Third clothesline. Brian Pillman in control, and the Anvil makes a tag, and here's where we started the match. Oh, and a double clothesline, but Pillman goes down. Pillman with a clothesline this time. Hart goes down. Another double clothesline. They run into each other in a short arm clothesline by the Hitman. What a match this is. Hard-hitting, fast-paced action on the Gotmark76 YouTube channel. Oh, and Pillman lured Bret Hart in, but Hart caught him in an elbow to the knee. And now the Hitman back in control. Out of the corner, running bulldog by the Hitman. But Pillman with a leg takedown, and down goes Bret Hart. Hart throws Pillman into the turnbuckle, makes a tag, and a double team maneuver by the Hart Foundation as Jim the Anvil Neidhart works over Flying Brian Pillman. Owen, the Anvil with a camel clutch locked in on Flying Brian. Can Flying Brian escape? The referee right in position. A submission maneuver. Can Pillman escape? Oh, and I think he was let out of it by the Anvil. Pillman did not submit. But the Anvil now has something else in his mind. Tags the Hitman. Oh, and here it comes. The heart attack. Off the ropes, the Anvil with a big clothesline. Takes down Flying Brian. Hart goes for the cover. Referee counts 1 of it, broken up by Stunning Steve. And Bret Hart is suplexing Stunning Steve into the ring. It's 2-on-1, and the 1 is in control. Bret Hart picks up Flying Brian. This match could have been over. Stunning Steve made the save. And here comes a tag again. And again, another heart attack. Bret off the ropes, a clothesline, down goes Pillman. Stunning Steve down in position to make the save. Anvil goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3. And your winners, the Hart Foundation, here on Tuesday Night Warfare. What a back and forth match this was. And here are some highlights. It took 2 heart attacks by the Hart Foundation to put away Flying Brian Pillman. And here's the second one right here. So the AI of 2K19 has the Hart Foundation with a victory over the Hollywood Blondes. And there's the pinfall. Fans, we thank you so much for joining us here on Tuesday Night Warfare. We have a very interesting matchup lined up for you next week as two men who auditioned for the role of Ivan Drago in Rocky IV will go head-to-head when Kerry Von Erich takes on Nikita Koloff. That match coming your way next week on Tuesday Night Warfare. And keep in mind, March 22nd, Clash of the Champions coming your way. Until then, everybody, we'll see you at the matches. Goodbye.